Good evening, folks. Chief Sarcan here from Ask the Chief Gaming. We are going to cover Lord of the Rings crafting because I'm an obsessive crafter and I like to craft. So I'm going to take a look and walk you through all the crafts that Lord of the Rings has to offer and how the crafting system works. Then we'll take a very brief look at the only hobby currently in game, which is fishing. So I hope you enjoy this journey through Lord of the Rings. Feel free to jump in and ask questions, and we are just going to take a look at different things. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off and we're going to find the Craft Master. This is when you hit level 10, you get the opportunity you get a quest that takes you to a Craft Master and says, would you like to become one of the following crafts? The way crafting in Lord of the Rings works is you pick a vocation, and a vocation gives you 3 crafting skills. And those crafting skills, there's 6 of them in all, and you get 3 skills. So for example, here on Sarcana, which is my elf warden, I am a, let's see here, which one am I? I don't even remember now. I'm the woodsman. So, the woodsman's, okay, so there's 7 of them. The woodsman's not listed because I already have it. And the woodsman gives me farmer, forester, and woodworker. But if you wanted to say make armor for a living, you'd be an armorer. And you get tailoring, prospecting, and metalsmithing. Metalsmithing makes the metal armor. Tailoring uses leather to make light and medium armor. The explorer, which is basically your harvester extraordinaire, gets prospecting, which is collecting ore, forester, which is chopping trees, and then a tailor, which makes light armor with the leather that you get from being a forester. Forester also lets you collect skins. An armsman, you get woodworking, prospecting, and metalsmithing, or weaponsmithing. So you're making metal weapons and wood weapons, and you get to be a prospector. The neat thing about the way Lord of the Rings did it, they really wanted you to be interdependent upon other crafters for one of your 3 vocations. So they constructed it in a way where you get 2 skills that basically support each other, and you get a 3rd one that you're going to need another person to help support it, or use the auction house. So we continue on. We have a tinkerer, which gives you jewelry crafting, prospecting, which is your Oregon, and a cook. Okay. Then you got a yeoman, which is tailor, farmer, and a cook, and then a historian, which is a scholar, weaponsmith, and a farmer. And if you notice, the way this is done, you have overlapping skills. And so, the way I did it, because I'm an obsessive crafter, I wanted one of every trade skill. To do that in Lord of the Rings, you're going to have 4 characters, at least level 10. Then you pick 4 vocations, and you'll get all of them. You will have some overlap. So for example, I have a historian, I have a tinkerer, a armorman, and a woodsman, and that gives me every single trade skill. So when you get those, you'll get a starter quest that'll tell you to talk to your corresponding trainer, and they'll give you an intro quest. I can't show you that because I've already completed them all. But basically you will go to your appropriate trade skill table and do some work. Some crafts like Scholar do not need a trade skill table. You can do most of your work just anywhere you are. And there's benefits for that we'll get to when I get over onto my Scholar. For this character, you would click here, which is your crafting panel, and you're going to see your 3 vocations. And the way the system works is each level has 2 tiers of crafting. The first tier, you can't critical, and so you have to craft until you get your first one done. But you've got all your recipes just listed here, and it's pretty easy to cycle through here. and it instantly tells you what that is going to be. If you have the ingredients in your bag, it'll be highlighted here. And then once you have the capability to critical, which can give you a better version of the same weapon. So for example, here we have a club, heavy rolling club, which is 16 to 26 damage, 4 will. Well, if you get the critical version, it goes up to 18 to 30. It still has the 4 will, but you also get power on top of it. Well, you can find items, this drop of sticky resin, in the world just by killing things or harvesting, that you can use it, what bumps up your critical chance by plus 45%. You can also get an item, which is probably the best use of turbine points that I've ever seen in a game, is you get this universal toolkit that gives you an automatic 20% to every skill, so you only have to carry one tool, and it gives you minus to how long it takes you to harvest. This thing is bound on account, so it's very good to trade if you only want to buy one and just trade it between your characters as you need to. But it was only 150 points, so I bought one for every character, so I just didn't have to pass them back and forth. Because typically you will have to have a crafting tool and swap that tool out for the trade that you're going to do. So another thing to note when you're looking at your trade skill window, some recipes have multiple versions. So when you look up here at a heavy rolling club, this one gives plus 4 will. You toggle it. Now you're going to have one with plus 4 fate. This is really important to remember because not every class that uses the club wants the same stat to buff them and their abilities. So you got to be very conscientious that there's multiple versions of something, and that not all recipes have multiple versions. So you may come here and there's only one version of the staff plus the upgrade. Okay, well that's all the choices you got. So that's a quick review of here. You can buy your complete set of recipes via turbine points. Now, I believe this is all recipes. I've never bought my recipes that way, but you can just buy it if you don't want to wait for world drops, because recipes will drop in the world. I don't know if I have any recipes on me to show you. Let's see if I won any. I think I tried to buy some on them. Oh, I got outbid, but I won one. So here's a recipe that dropped for someone in the world. It Paladin, that's interesting. I'm not sure why the volume seems off sync. So where was I? Oh, so this dropped for someone. I bought it off the auction house, so I can detach it. One thing to note, dropped recipes cannot be purchased, and purchased recipes will not drop. To learn a recipe, you just right-click it, and this is going to add it permanently to your recipe guide, unless it's a one-time use recipe, and we'll get to that here in a second. I'll show you some on the vendor or the market. But so, for example, woodworker. Where's my woodworker? Over here. So, woodworker, we talked to him. We browse his shop.
What can I do for you?
Now see how he sells recipes? None of these recipes drop in the wild. So if you have the money and you want the recipe, it doesn't hurt to buy it, because you're not going to save yourself by waiting to see if it's going to drop. As far as I know. I hope I'm not wrong and somebody doesn't correct me, because I've been buying them all under that assumption. So, and it's clearly indicated that it's got a red border if you can't learn it or you already know it. And if you can learn it, which I think I've already bought them all, it'll be kind of a whitish border rather than red. Here's a crafting tool like I was telling you. If you don't have a universal tool, if you want to do woodworking, you're going to have to equip the woodworking tool. And then if you want to switch to something else, you're going to have to switch to that tool. So let's see if we can find a one-time use recipe so you can see what that looks like. So in the auction house, you would come under crafting, you would click recipes, you would find a tier of recipe for something you do. For this tune, it happens to be woodworking, and you could put your criteria, but you do a search. Okay, this one I already know. Let's go to tier 2. It says, I don't know this one. Now see how the recipe is purple, and it says single-use recipe. So a single-use recipe are unique world drops that you learn it if you have the trade skill. This particular one is woodworking, but it is exceptional stats. So they don't want to flood the world with these exceptional weapons. So the recipes are one use. You get to make it once, you use it or sell it, and that's it. Luckily, it's a bind on equip, so you don't have to have the skill to be able to end up eventually getting a weapon. And there's a lot of these single uses, and they usually sell for a lot. Like but this one, for example, is a single use, and somebody put a cheap bid, so I'm going to bid on that sucker. Why? Because who knows, I might need it someday. But it's a good idea if you're heavy into crafting to watch the market for this type of stuff. When stuff is selling really cheap and you can afford it, buy it. Now, for example, this one, I'm not an artisan woodworker. It is cheap, but you've got limited bank space, so I'm not going to buy it. But I just wanted to show you that's how you get recipes here and in the world. So let's see if we can craft something. So I'm going to open up my vault.
How can I
get
be
some
of
supplies
service?
out and see if we can make something just to show you the process. Let's see here. I think I got plenty of wood to make something. Oh no, am I already carrying it? I must be out. So we'll see if we got any leather. We got some leather we can make. Okay, so let me get this out of my shared bank, and we'll open up the panel and show you that process. So at least you can see it in work. So a leather worker needs to go to a work table. We're going to open up the work table. Oh, we'll pause for a second. I think you just did a commercial. Alright, so we have this open, and as you can see on the recipe list, a recipe turned green. And what this means is I have everything in my backpack, or my bags in this case, in this game, to make it. So we would come over here, and that means including the tool equipped, and we're at the right place, and how many we can make. And it shows us here if we critical, we have a 5% to critical, we will make 3 of them instead of 2 of them. It also shows you how much crafting experience you will earn. Criticals give you more experience than is shown, but here it's showing you that skilling up. I'm going to get 6 experience for crafting, but it'll do nothing because I'm already maxed out for apprentice. But at least you understand how it works. If I was making medium leather, then I still have points I need to gather. So we'll go ahead and make that. Watch the animation, and you can choose to hide this while crafting if you want, or you can leave it open. I typically leave it open just because I like to keep doing all my crafting really fast. And so let's go here to woodworking, components. If we have the right wood, we'd make the subcomponents for weapons. And like I previously showed you here, we had some bow staffs, we could make some clubs and so on. In fact, let me see, I think I already have some of that made up. So we'll see if we can make something there to show you.
What can I do for you? What do you need?
While I'm getting set up for some more crafting here, anybody got any questions about crafting thus far? I plan to kind of show you a little bit of everything so you can kind of get a feel for maybe when you start the game, if you do and want to get into crafting, what trade skills you might want to pick by the flavor of those schematics that are recipes that are there. Let's see here. So let's see if we can make anything with that. Alright, so here we have enough wood we can make a bow staff, and then you can click down here and go, well, if we had a bow staff, we could make, I believe they're spears, so we could make a bow staff, and we'd have to buy a brace. Both of these, or no, we could make a brace. Let's just do it. Let's make one. We'll make one of these. And we can make one of these. And we critical, so we got extras. Now, we want to make a spear because that's what takes these, but I need a rough leather wrap. So let's go over here to the vendor.
What can I do for you?
Browse the shop.
What can I do for you?
And buy a rough leather wrap. Oh, wrong vendor because that's a tailor, not a woodworker.
What do you need?
Sorry about that.
What do you need?
Some things will be on both vendors, but most will not. So there's a rough leather wrap for 1 silver, 60 copper, so we'll buy one of those. We'll come back to our workbench. Okay, there's one right here too. And now we can see we have a bunch of things available to be made. We can make a ranged or melee weapon, level 7 or 12. And we can make a bow of 2 different varieties. And if we succeed or we had a drop of sticky resin, we could try and make the bow here. We could make a javelin, which is what this character uses, or crossbows. So let's go ahead and just make a javelin. Now the question is, do we want to go for 20 to 40, or do we want to go for increased threat, or it is minus to all skill inductions? Let's go for increased threat. We'll just make that. And hope we crit without the resin. And it does happen. And we did not. So there we go. We have our heavy rolling javelin of that.
Greetings.
Let's see here. We'll just put the extra wood away since we don't need it right now. Oh, I have a bunch of them. Okay. And then we have these here. So that is it for that particular trade skill. Anybody got any questions? The other skill I have is a farmer and a forester. Forester, you have to go out into the woods. Take note though, when you kill things and harvest trees, you will not get skill points here. Only when you process what you've harvested. But you still have to have the axe to collect that stuff. So if we go out into the world here, let's go see if we can find a tree real quick. And by the way, we were in the crafting area in Bree, which is kind of the human area. So let's turn on our, as a forester, we can look for wood, or we can look for crops. In the world there are just food laying around, fruit and stuff like that. You can still see them without the skill turned on, but you can choose what you want to try. So here we are in Bree. Let's just go outside of town here and see if we can find a tree to chop down so you can see what it looks like on the mini-map when we're looking for stuff. Alright, room tap outside in the woods. Let's see here, this bear. So if we kill the bear, we should get some leather. And by the way, you can't attack from the horse until you get to the zones where attacking by the horse is important. Okay, we did not get any fur. That's okay. We're trying to find a tree to chop down. And they're not cooperating by finding me a tree nearby. Don't you know it? That's always the way it goes. Ah, there we go. So here's the symbol of what you would see on your mini-map, but you can see that you also see the words. So you don't really need to have the tracking skill, but it definitely helps. And to harvest, you just have to make sure you have your axe equipped, you have the ability, and then you just chop down the tree. And since I have that universal tool, chopping down that tree was really quick. Now there's an ore node, but you can see it's red because I don't have the prospector ability. If you're of the explorer craft, you would be able to harvest both of them. And as you can see here, we got a drop of sticky resin, which is used by making wood weapons to try and proc those purple versions of the weapons in your skill list. Okay. Oop. Come on. Looks like you could just ride right through there, doesn't it? So this is a crafting hall also, so we can just go right in here. Oh, but this crafting hall, the reason why I like the other one, because this one doesn't have a mailbox or an auction house. But it is convenient if you're just outside the town and want to make something real quick. So we want to head back into Bree. Then I'll swap over and show you farming. Farming is a little bit different animal than the rest of the crafts. I went to comb instead of 3. Alright. Okay. So does anybody out there play Lord of the Rings that I was watching? Here we are, back to town. Oh, that's cool, IT. I also played during beta, and then because of deployments, I didn't play until a couple months ago. I am just now getting back into the game, so I'm finding it interesting the differences between beta and now. Especially now that it's been free to play, I guess, for a little while. It actually is pretty interesting. So, first thing I'm going to do I'm going to send some money to my farmer because she's broke. And we'll log over and I'll show you what the farming looks like. Ooh, I got a deed. I didn't even notice. Cool, Leonard. Welcome to the game. I find it's really relaxing and fun. The story is very engaging. Can't say that about a lot of games. So, log in on my hunter here and we'll do some farming. Farming is a very interesting trade skill in Lord of the Rings because you actually go out to a field and you actually sow the seeds and harvest the crops. It's interesting though because as a historian, which is the one I am for my main farmer, I can't use it except for the tobacco. Everybody can use tobacco, which is pretty cool. You get these unique tobaccos and you light it up and smoke it just like in the movies. No practical purposes other than maybe for your role play or you're just sitting around town and you want to do something cool, but you grow your own tobacco. Pretty fun. Oh, this is an add-on, by the way, that reminds me my daily task stuff. So,
how can I be of service?
Here. Do I have anything that I need for farming, or do I already have it on me? Oh, I think I already have it on me. Okay. Farmer, I don't have any seeds. We just need to collect some money and head up to the fields. Of course, the mailbox is way down there. So this is Erin. This is the Elven area where you would first come into town and get your trade skill. And down here by the waterfront is the mailbox. Okay. Alright, got our money. Head up here to the farm fields. What the heck? Ah, the commercial started. It's supposed to be muted for some reason. Sometimes it still tries to speak to me. Okie doke. Are we about to the top yet here? Alright, so here's a farming field, and you can tell farming fields because they'll have these crafting icons, and they'll tell you what kind of field it is. So right now I'm standing in a vegetable patch. Over here is a pipeweed, and then there's a grain field. And that's important because you can only grow that type of stuff in that type of field. So we're going to open up our recipe thing, and we're going to see what we can make. So I still need to get 146 points to get to the first, to become a master in growing. And I know for a fact I need some grains and some vegetables for my cook to be able to level his cooking. And so here we have the different types of fields. And every type of farming you're going to need to buy fertilizer and water and the seeds. So pretty much everything from farming you have to purchase. The good thing is it's fairly inexpensive, and you're farming and get seeds from growing. So it does kind of pay you back from your original purchase. I haven't found any seeds that just drop in the world, but it's possible, but I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that. But you have your different things. Now, most of these I purchased the recipes from this guy. Some of these you can see where you don't need anything but the seeds. And some of these you need the other stuff. And it kind of tells you in the recipe what you're going to get. And if you proc or you add stuff on here, you're going to get a different type of field, which is actually, in this case, for farming, a completely different vegetable and needed for different recipes and cooking. So you can do a yellow onion crop or yellow onion field, and I think the difference between the two is how many you get out of it. So from here, I'm going to get 4. From the field, I think it's random, but you can proc the well-tendeds, but you need the apprentice crop seed and so on. So let's just see what the vendor
do you
has for
need?
sale for us, and we'll just do it.
What do you need?
So we have apprentice crop seed, apprentice flower seed, and a pipeweed seed. So we'll just buy some of these. We'll buy 5 of those. Let's see what else he's got. Not sure what the pot's for. Expert seeds. We're not an expert level yet, so I don't even think I can use those. But for the journeyman, it's the same thing. Journeyman seeds. Oh, I am high enough level, but see here it's telling me I can grow these, or these. Fair yellow onion crop. I think those are drops from the fields. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, so let's go over here and grow some vegetables, which, if we remember, our field's over here for vegetables. Oh no, that's a grain field. I was at the vegetable field. I'm sorry. So when you're in the field, you'll open up your thing, click on it, and it says you're good to go. Now, the interesting thing about cropping is you can make one here, and then move over here and make one, and then make one and make one, and then harvest them. Or you can just make all. In this case, we'll make 2 of these here. And it's just going to grow them on the same spot. And when it's done, we'll harvest both of them from the same spot. It doesn't look like it made 2 fields, but it actually does. And so don't ever feel like, oh, I wasted trying to grow it, because you put them both in the same spot because it looks like you're only going to harvest one. But actually the other one's right below it. The first time I did this, I freaked out and go, oh, I'm not going to get my other crop, but you just have to wait a second, and then you can harvest it. And so it gave me 5 yellow onion crops. So now that we have our crops, you have to go to a workbench and process them. That's what it was going right. So now we can go to a workbench, and we can process these, and the processed product is what a cook would use. So just to be interesting, I'm going to make a couple of, for my
What
cook,
can I do for you?
I want to make a couple of varieties of things, so when we switch over there, he's got something to work with. So we can show you cooking. So we're going to make 2 mushrooms. The nice thing about the crafting Lord of the Rings, it doesn't take a lot of time, but at the same time, it's not just a click and craft completely. You have some decisions to make about, do you want to add stuff on there so you can proc? Do you not want to add stuff on there and proc? If it's like the weapons, which version do you want to craft? And the user interface for crafting is pretty easy to manage. As long as you have the ingredients in your bags, you're going to figure out where you got to do stuff. Okay, it said we had hops, and I guess that's for making beer.
What can I do for you?
Let's make a couple of beer ones. That ought to be cool. Buy 2 of those. What about grains? We can make a couple of these. Now, flowers are for making dye, which is used by a scholar. Well, that's true, Paladin, that you're really not ever going to lose anything. The only difference is, are you going to proc and get something special? So I guess in that respect, it is rather tedious and boring for some. But like, I enjoy the idea behind farming. You actually got to come out here and do stuff. Let's see here. I harvested those. Oh, I proc something there. Oh, but what was I saying? Oh, flowers. Flowers are used by a scholar, and this tune is also a scholar. So if I go here, you craft battle lores, which gives you bonuses for time period. This one is for 20 minutes. It gives you a buff. You can give these scrolls to anybody that you have. You can also make crafting lores, which gives you bonuses for a short amount of time, typically a minute at the apprentice level, that will boost your critical chance success to get extra stuff. And then you have your dyes and your paints. Paints are for the houses, dyes are for your armors, and then potions, which obviously they restore things. So I find the scholar really good for supporting other tunes and classes. So what was I getting ready to do here? Oh yeah, I was going to make some more crops. Farmer. We were going to make a couple of fields of grain. Oh, I need a grain field, and I'm in the wrong spot. So here's a perfect example of if you're standing on the wrong piece of dirt, you're not going to grow anything. Ah, here we go. Let's make grain. Yeah, I guess there is a point to that. I think Vanguard Saga Heroes was probably the most interactive and fun crafting I've ever done in the game. It was a mini game unto itself, and you could fail, and you could cause problems. You could make bad armor that nobody would want. To me, that was hugely fun. So, in comparison to this, yeah, this is very simple. I have to agree with you there. But the thing that I do like about Lord of the Rings crafting is at level 10, your first set of recipes, it's useful. You can upgrade your equipment, you can sell it on the auction house, and it will sell, and you can make money. So as long as you have the materials and the supplies, you actually can do pretty well right out of the gate. There's none of this, I'm going to make 40 swords, get my 10 points to level, but the swords are absolutely useless. Lord of the Rings really did well with making it beneficial right out the gate. No, you can't AFK while crafting in Vanguard. You have to make decisions during the process. At least it was the last time I played it. Of course, that was a couple years ago, but yeah, if you weren't paying attention in Vanguard for crafting, you weren't crafting anything. Or you were crafting junk. That's for sure. Okay, so we've made a little bit of everything here. Let's go down to a workbench and process it. Take a look at the scholar real quick, and then we'll switch over to our cook and take a look at that. Oh, there's a tin deposit, but I don't harvest that. It's interesting. I may have to log into Vanguard and take a look at that because I don't remember it being that way. Unfortunately, most games, I think, don't do crafting well enough. It's always a side product of the game rather than an integral part. And though crafting is useful to the game, it's a side thing. So, let's see here. We're just going to process everything. See what happens. Oh, I see what you mean. Between stages of crafting in Vanguard, yes, you could pause and go AFK. And in EQ2, I'm not sure. I never played EQ2, but like the first 5 levels. But in EQ is, I don't remember the crafting. But now I understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, you could pause between stages rather than from start to finish. You have to finish. Hot Greedmonger? I don't think I've heard of that. So like this is I could click the button, go AFK, and I'm not worried about losing anything. So yeah, in some respects, this is just boring and tedious. But the fact that I have to do this and then give it to another tune still makes it engaging enough to like to do it. It's not like I can just do everything on this tune and keep going. You can kill yourself during crafting? That's awesome. Oh, I wish I would have been able to do that. That's funny, Leonard. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I'll have to take a look at that. I don't do a whole lot of indies. The only indie, well, that's not true. I do a lot of different indies, but unfortunately, I'm tagged into so many different games, it's hard to keep up with all of them. Oh, we made master at this level. Sweet! We are done. We are a master now. We will proc more often. I love games that can kill you for absolutely the trivialist of reasons that don't involve mobs. That's funny. A 3D UO. Now that sounds actually very cool. Another game that has crafting where it's going to be a very big focus of the game is Trials of Ascension, and it has permadeath. You have to build up your city, you have to build your own infrastructure and trade routes. That's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull that off. Of course, it's a long ways out. I wouldn't consider it something to be this year, but it's something to watch. Thanks, Paladin. I'll go take a look at that. That looks pretty good. I'll have to definitely dial into that. Do they still take money, or is it the Kickstarter's over so you can't invest anymore? Do you know? Wow, we made a lot of grain. Look at that. 56 spring barley. Another thing I like about the Lord of the Rings crafting, or just in general, every tooltip seems to have some kind of story. And you'll really see this when I show you the fishing. Everything has a little snippet in it, and everything gets tagged with who made it. Which is very interesting. And if you notice, every time something goes in your bag, it stays flashing highlighted to say, hey, something new got added to your bag. And that is really nice because if your bags are disorganized, it can get very confusing of what you have. And so it's important to make things stand out. And the fact that they automatically stack is really good to make sure you don't lose things. That's very good point, Leonard. I mean, if you look at the gear on my characters, everything's purple. And it's all self-made or gotten from a guildie that crafts. But unlike, say, for example, I hate to say the World of Warcraft, where what crafting skill you have actually affects your stats, Lord of the Rings doesn't do that. What you craft has stats, but the skill that you craft with doesn't give you stats. And I like the distinction of keeping it separate, because then it doesn't force you to be, for example, I'm an archer, I don't have to be a woodworker because I'm not going to get the bonus to my bows because I'm using them, not a woodworker per se.
Megavonen.
So let's put our cooking supplies away. Oh, I might not have room to put them away. Let's see here. Nothing in the scholar's box. Problematic. Let's see here. I can remove the task items. Give myself some more room. So this is a shared bank, and you have to buy your spots, so I don't really feel like buying extra spots, so I'll just do the shuffle. Okay, so the cooking supplies have been put away. Oh, more sprig for procking. Now let's go take a look quickly at the scholar, and then we'll proceed on, because I want to give a full tour in the short time I have of all the different crafts. Okay, so we've covered farmer. You understand that you have to grow it, then you have to process it, and then you have to give it to somebody that can use it. As a farmer itself, there'll be nothing there you can use directly after you've processed it except the pipe tobacco, and then that's just for smoking it. In fact, do I have any pipe tobacco? Oh, I do. So let's see what smoking a pipe looks like. So we're going to get this cool little animation. And every one of types of tobacco is different. Different pipes, different looks, different smoke rings that you blow at the end of it when you're done. And that's all tobacco does for you. Isn't that cool? Alright, now you know about tobacco. So a scholar no cities, no buildings, and villages, everything built by the player. Very cool. I do like that. Okay, scholar. We already covered what they make. The question is, do I have anything on me to be able to make anything and show you? Let's see here. I thought I had some, I could make some dye or some paint. I can make some wall paint here if I buy some chalk. So let's browse the shop. I already have some bottles of water, some pieces of chalk. So looks like I have 2 leaves. So let's buy 2 pieces of chalk. And this craft is another one that you end up having to buy a lot of stuff. But it's not too expensive. Just, well, it depends on what you consider expensive. So we can buy 2 of those, and then you can just make them. And this is the only craft that I know of that you don't have to use some kind of table for. You can pretty much make everything just where you stand. In fact, for the campfires that are needed, oh, those didn't stack. Oh, pea green wall paint. pea green wall paint. Okay, they don't stack. Though that kind of sucks. Alright. Crafting lore. Oh, it's the cook that needs the lumber. Never mind. Okay. So you would go through here and just make things for different reasons. Like I said, some of this you have to buy. Some of it are drops. And here's the different types of drops that you would get. As you can see, most of mine that I currently have on hand are for higher levels. Okay. The last craft I have on this toon is a weaponsmith. And weaponsmiths make weapons. Metal weapons, I should say. The wood crafters actually make the wood weapons.
What can I do
we'll go
for
back
you?
here and see if I got any metal on hand. Die. We'll just throw that in there. And metals. We got some copper. I got some bronze. Don't think we need the tin yet. We'll take a look. Low grade steel, I know is too high, but we'll take it all just so we have stuff on hand for us. Whoa, that was a shortcut that I didn't want to take. So now we have to find a forge. Which is over here.
How can I be of service?
See if we got any recipes that I don't have yet.
How can I be of service?
So we can see what that looks like. Nope, looks like I already bought them all, which is probably why I was broke and needed money. So we click on the forge. Now, we can make bronze blades and bronze hilts, and if we go over here, we can see what we need to make those. So let's just make 5 of each just to get us going. Let's hide this while crafting. There we go. Oops. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Progress bar. Control backspace, by the way, lets you adjust your user interface really quickly. So we made 5 of those. Let's make 5 of these. Alright, now that we made those, now we have lots of choices. Level 12, level 7s. So let's take a look. I can use axes, so I can already make myself a replacement axe. I could replace my sword. Oh, I have a bronze sword. Oh, that's a heavy bronze sword. And I just have a bronze sword. I can't use maces. I can't use two-handed axes. I can't use those. But I can use a dagger. Let's see here. So let's make a bronze heavy sword with might. And sure. Let's make one of those for myself. Let's make some upgrades here, people. Alright. And since we can carry an axe in our offhand, do we want more fate? Or do we want more will? Let's go with the fate. Make one of those. Alright, so now we can go to our inventory here. Let's equip the sword, which shows me it's better than the bronze sword I currently have, but it's going to bind. Okay. We're going to equip the axe. Oh. So now, we got a sword and an axe. It's an upgrade from what we just currently had. And that is weapons crafting.
What do you need?
Now, of course, we can go over here to our vendor, sell off the old stuff. Nice thing about crafting here, nice thing about the UI that you want to keep in mind, is you can do a show locked or not show locked. And what you do is you just click this thing if you want to lock it. Now you have to do this at a vendor, but basically it makes sure that you don't ever sell anything you don't want to sell. So this is a crafting supply I don't ever want to sell, so I'm just going to lock it all. And then when you come to a vendor, you'll make sure that you only sell stuff you want to sell. And if everything's locked and not shown, you can just sell all because it should all be junk, right? Very interesting system for inventory management that I haven't seen before. It's really nicely done. Makes it very quick and easy to see when you have stuff that you don't want to sell. So that's that. So we'll go back up here and put the metal back in the bank in case I have another tune that needs it. And we'll switch over to our next craft.
How can I be of service?
Any questions before I move off of my historian?
How can I be of service?
No? Okay. We'll go ahead and log out of here. .3D licensing changed, so they decided to scrap what they had done coding and redo it. Wow, that's a lot of extra work. Okay, so we're going to come over here to our, I think my room keeper is my cook. Yeah. So really quickly, we'll show you cooking and jewelry, and then the last hop over will be over to take a quick look at fishing, because armor smithing and weapon smithing are essentially the same. I'll show you the recipe list, but I won't show you actually craft anything. It's the same concept. But I want to let you look at the recipe lists so you can kind of get a feel and an idea that if you were to choose that craft, what you could craft. And then, unless there's something else you want to see, which we can do, I can go show you a couple missions if you want, or whatever. That would be pretty much for this evening. My goal was just a crash course in crafting. So this is my cook. So let's see.
What do you want?
And my jewelry crafter. Open shared bank, cook. Let's get some vegetables out here. See if we can make something. Gems, since I'm also a jeweler. Anything else? No. Oh, here's some of those scrolls I was telling you about where you can give yourself a buff that the scholar makes. So there's some already made.
Greetings.
Okay. Oh, I open my own vault.
Greetings.
Cook. I got lots of food. But can I actually make anything is the question. Just get some of these out. Typically I like to just put everything in my bags and see what I can craft without having to go back and forth and back and forth. But when you get a craft like cooking that has a lot of different things, most of these I'm sure probably too high level. In fact, if I look, some of them probably says they're for higher level. But I have the bag space, so let's just do it up. we got all those. Oh, there's another thing I can show you. In the world, you get recipes that drop from mobs. They're going to come in a scroll case. Here's an important tip. Do not open the scroll cases until you're ready to try and use them. And the reason why is a scroll case, they stack. As a recipe, they stack. However, multiple recipes don't stack. No matter what's in the scroll case, it stacks. So you keep it on hand. For example, I'm an apprentice jeweler. If I open this, I'm going to get another recipe that I may or may not be able to use. There, it's already known. Had I not opened those scroll cases, all 5 of these recipes would still be in one slot. Where inventory management is a premium, only open it if you think you need it. Otherwise, leave it there, because now I'm going to have to go over to an auction keeper and try and sell those off so they're not taking up bag space.
Greetings.
Oh, I guess I should have grabbed some metal while I'm at it so I
What
can
do
show
you
the
need?
jewelry.
Greetings.
Open your walls, jeweler. So jewelers use polished stones that you make yourself. And then these just make things critical. Let's get rid of those. Oh, I got something in the bank here, or the mail. So this is the dwarven area. Oh, I won a recipe! Yay! Inventory. Typically, when I log in, the first thing I do is go shopping for recipes. I just learned another ring recipe. So here we are in the dwarven city area.
Well met.
There's our auction keepers. Let's see if we got any recipes we can buy and or sell. Crafting, recipe, cooking. Because you just never know when something's going to be for sale. Cooking recipes don't seem to be on sale very often. Jewelry. Search. Anything I can use? Nope. Everything's already known. And I don't think I'm ready for level 2. Oh, there we go. One-time uses. Too expensive. Single use, but I already know it. Alright. There we go. So let's head up to the crafting area. Oops, wrong way. I don't want to go outside. I want to go over here. No. Why do I feel like I just went the wrong way? Oh, over on the side. There we go. So, question. Streamlining has been done to the highest tier, so they aren't arduous to level up. Oh, that's good to know. As you see, you haven't seen my highest level character, but he's only 22, so I'm not really sure about the high levels, but I'm trying to give my review of what I know, because I am kind of an obsessive crafter, and I like to give a good review on every game I play. Like I said, I find crafting in this game enjoyable, if not the best crafting system. It still is
What do you
enjoyable.
want?
So once again, we check the vendor. The nice thing about this guy is you can have him open, and you can have open your window. And the reason why I like to do that is because if I'm trying to find something to make, and it requires me to buy something, it's a good time. Oh, I forgot my wood. Darn it. That was how I was going to level. I have a bunch of wood. Sorry, let's go back and get that. So certain food can only be made at a campfire, but you have to make the kindling before you can have a campfire. So there's a lot of food that stuffs I have on hand that I can't even make because I didn't have campfires. So I went harvesting on one of my tunes prior to the stream so I'd have wood, but then I forgot to get it. Oop, wrong side.
What do you
Here's
need?
my banker.
What do you need?
Wood. There we go. I probably don't need 49 piled wood fires, but we're gonna go make some kindling. Just love the texture and the artwork in this place. You know, the floor shines like it's been freshly waxed, but you got dark and foreboding stone also in the places that aren't supposed to be shiny. Lighting effects in here are important depending on where you are in reference to a fire. You got shadows. I mean, for an older game, this is pretty well done, I gotta say.
Greetings.
Okay. Browse the shop. Alright, so campfire. I need kindling material. So let's scroll down here and find some kindling material. There we go. Not sure how you buy multiples without buying a full stack. So I always just click. So we're going to make all of those. Alright, whittle that down. Did I cuss? I didn't even realize it. I'm so sorry. But, in my defense, I'm a retired Navy chief, and I just don't think about that sometimes. But I shouldn't have. Because my daughter's in the next room, and I wouldn't have liked her to hear me say that. But tab to partial stack. Okay, once I start crafting, I'll take a look at that. Okay. Oh, tab gives you a partial. Well, that's interesting. Doesn't really help me, but okay. I'll make 4 or 5 more of those. Okay, I hope so. I'm not even sure how to say your name, so I'm just going to say Ark, because I'm pretty sure I didn't say it. But believe me, I'm not above saying it. I just usually don't, because I do have a 12-year-old in the next room. But anyway. Okay, so trail food, the reason why we made the campfires is we have to have a campfire to make it. And this gives us our buff food, which is really the most beneficial thing, I think, that the cook can make and that you give to your alts, is your buff food that actually has a duration of more than a couple of minutes, because most buffs in Lord of the Rings seem to be very short term except for these type of things. For example, if I go to fortifying food, oh, those are 20 minutes also. Interesting. But they're different types. So these are resistances. And see, before I couldn't make these because I didn't have the fresh carrots. I can also make ingredients, which I can make flour out of. I'm not sure if there's anything else that uses the spring barley. Oh. Whole bunches of things. Interesting. Well, let's see about making 10 of each. Is pork shank something we can buy? And bottles of water. This is actually my first actual real effort into cooking, because before I had stuff, but I never had anything that I could finish making. Okay, so we got 10 of those. That needs 10 bottles of water. So we'll make 10 of those. And for that, oh, we have hops too. The in-combat region food, yeah. Where's that at? Okay, we'll find it. Well, I think I'm gonna very quickly good at this. Level up cooking because of my farmer. Cooked food section. Thanks, Leonard. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. But I think if I make a number of ingredients, then I'll have more recipes that I could make, right? I'm making the assumption here. Let's see here, so we can make 10 of these. Good times. Normally my streams are a little more action-packed than this one, but like I said, today I wanted time crafting. I hope you're all enjoying the stream. Tomorrow I'll be back on MMORPG.com with some DDO for our Saturday guild run, Insomniac's gaming community. I always seem to mess up that word for some reason. And then Sunday I'll be doing some either Wizard 101 or Pirate 101 for my kid episode that I do every Sunday. And then Tuesdays I'll be back for the Secret World. In between, I may be streaming on my channel, or if MMORPG.com has room, I'll stream on their channel. It just depends on what's going on. So please be sure, if you like what I'm doing, to follow me both here on MMORPG.com and my own personal channel, which is Chief_Sarcan, and follow me on Twitter by the same name also, and we can get together and hang out. And for those of you that weren't here at the beginning, my philosophy is Ask the Chief Gaming. So if you want to see a game, see a function within a game, you just have to ask, and I'll do my best during that stream or a different stream to show what's being asked. If I don't know, I'll research it. The streams are here for you. Alright, so we've made a bunch of ingredients. Ooh, now we can wear a cup of spring barley flour. Oh, if we add this, I thought we already did that. We did that. So we made that. We made that. We didn't do anything with the fires yet. So let's see, can we make a fire? Strong drinks. Oh, cooked food. Here we go. This is what you were talking about, the in-game regen stuff. Yeah, these are the ones that always kind of bothered me. They have a 5-minute. Oh, this one has a 5-minute, but that has a 20-minute. Interesting. Or did I click on the wrong thing? No, these all have 5 minutes. You said these are hugely popular, the 5-minute buffs? 5 minutes doesn't seem like anything at all. Of course, I haven't played anywhere where I'm concerned about this extra stats, so maybe they are popular. Pork shank. I don't have any more pork shank. Pork stock. Okay, we have fortifying food, which are 20 minutes. Let's close the journeyman down. Trail foods are the cooked carrots. Not very big buffs for their level, huh? Okay. And then we got loot strings we can make. I guess those must be for making instruments, or this is a special buff for them. A weak ale. I'm assuming alcohol is just like smoking. Oh, 10 minutes when critted. Good to know. And it's just for the fun of it. Spring barley mush. Pie crust. Chicken eggs, do we buy that? We do. I didn't have pie crust before, I don't think. Let's buy some chicken eggs. Uh-oh. I broke my crafting tool. Alright, repair. So we can make all kinds of stuff now. Mushroom pies. Or biscuits. Alright. Let's make some mushroom pies. Why not? Anything else that uses the pie crust we have so far? Nope. Okay, we make them all. There we go, superior pie. That's what you were talking about. 10 minutes. Sweet. Oh, we critted on 2 of them. Okay. Oh, we're preparing a campfire. This will be the last thing we look at cooking, as I just wanted to see what having a cook fire does for us. Guess they all just eggs and onions, mushrooms. Oh, fish. Use some of my fish. There we go. We need some lumps of butter. Let's cook some lumps of butter. Let's make all those since we got the fire out. There's a lot of variability to these recipes and what they give you. That's very interesting. Not procking here though. Nope. Alright, so let's take a quick look at jewelry crafting, which is a different table. That's the cook. Scholar. Where's my jeweler? Jeweler, here we go. So jewelry requires a workbench, and jewelers are based off of making gems and then the corresponding jewelry, bracelets, earrings, necklaces, and rings. And if you look at your character slot, a jeweler is very popular because they fill up this whole side. You know, one craft makes all of this, and as you can see this, I made superior jewelry for myself just because I had a prospector that collected a lot of metal and ore or gems ahead of time, and then you have to have your armor or your tailor make up the rest of it. So as you can see here, I can make some more gems. There's no reason not to make them all because nobody else uses the gems as far as I know. Ooh, we procced, which means we got more than the gems we were supposed to get. And just notice I'm not using the purple stuff to increase my bonus odds or crit odds, but I could if I had to. Okay, we got one of those too. And so you can also see they make Lore Keeper runes, or Rune Keeper runes, and then Lore Keeper talismans. These are class specific. For example, I'm a Rune Keeper, so I have a Rune of Restoration on me. I've already made myself a purple fine agate flint runestone. I just am not level 12 yet to be able to use it. But so this is the types of things that the jeweler will make. And I forgot to grab metal, so I'm not going to worry about it, but at least you get an idea of the types of things you can make here. And the same thing that's is very important to look at. Here we go. We have 3 versions of this. Max morale, by critical rating, or max power. So you can make the same piece of jewelry for any class because of the stats. And so you want to make sure you have a good diversity of the recipes as you get them. I obviously bought most of them off of the vendor already, so I have a good selection. So with that, we are off to our last character and last set of crafts, because the only thing I do on this guy is jeweler and cook. I already have a prospector. Oh, but I can level this prospector simply by passing my ore off to this guy for the prospector that's already leveled past this one, because you only get it for refining, not for harvesting in the world, for skilling. So if you have multiple crafts, you might as well take advantage of it, because as you see, as you get levels, you get turbine points. Log out. Jarlin, welcome. I'm finding that I really enjoy crafting in Lord of the Rings despite some of its simplicities, but the interaction between my characters makes it enjoyable. I feel very self-reliant. Nothing feels like it ever goes to waste. I don't feel like I'm making stuff just to level, and that's very important. I make what I have resources to make, and I either use it or sell it, and it almost always sells. For those that don't sell, it sells to the vendor for a reasonable price, which is typically more than if I was trying to buy the resource. So it's a good meshed system, I would like to say. There's a lot of games that you craft and you craft and you craft, and nobody wants the junk. You just have to craft to level, and it seems like such a grind. Thus far, I've not found that to be the case here. And my client, stop responding. Come back. Come back. Don't die. We're so close. What's going on? The first thing that I noticed about crafting in Lord of the Rings, and I hope my client recovers here. Oh, there we go. Yay! Was the fact that as soon as I got 10, as soon as I made something, I put it on the auction house and it sold. I was just enamored by the fact that it sold. And then I thought, well, maybe I didn't sell it for enough. But then at the same time, I got more than I would have got from a vendor. I was happy. And the rest is history, because I only plan to have a single toon in this game, and as you can see, I now have 4, so I could have every craft. Obsessive compulsive? Yes, I am. But if I wasn't obsessive compulsive about gaming and crafting, you wouldn't be here watching me today, because I'm such an obsessive compulsive about gaming that I wanted to share with you guys. Because why play alone? As we wait to log in, so the first thing I'm going to show you here, which is really the last topic of the day, besides that I wanted to talk about and cover, is hobbies. In Lord of the Rings, they have a single hobby, so it's kind of hard to say the word hobbies because they only have one, and it's fishing. The interesting thing about fishing is the fact that you can fish anywhere. There's water, you can fish. You have a pool, you can fish. As you can see, I cooked some fish up for my cook, so it helps with your leveling. But mostly, it's just going to give you junk. But one thing you want to note, if you do get into the fishing, that while it's not overly time consuming, you're limited on the number of points you can get in fishing a day. And unlike regular crafting, which is here, your crafting panel, to access fishing, you have to access your character, and then you have to hit hobby. And what your hobby does is it's kind of come up and list all your hobbies. And like I said, the only one I found so far is fishing. If there's more, please tell me, because I don't know about it. But the key about fishing is you can only get 10 points a day. And I have currently leveled this one up today 8 points. And the reason why I did that, I wanted to show you me getting up my last 2 points to max out, because when your crafting bar for hobbies is blue, you can still get points for the day. If it turns yellow, you can continue to fish, but you're no longer going to advance. So that's a very critical point with hobbying. If you're just trying to power level, you're not going to do it in a single day. You can get a max of 10 points a day, and I think the highest level is 200. Now, you have to equip a fishing pole. I have a basic fishing pole, but I believe that there's 5 levels of bonus fishing poles, and there's even some clothes, I think, that give you fishing bonuses. But it's +1 through +5. And everything that I've seen or heard, it only really helps you at the lower levels. I haven't seen one on the auction house. I know woodworkers make them, but I don't have the recipe, so I don't own a special fishing pole. The next thing you have to do is get to a body of water. and put fishing ability on your hotbar. Then it's as simple as just casting and waiting for your bobber to bob. And the nice thing I like about fishing, and the reason why I enjoy it even though you only do a little bit of it a day, is the water in Lord of the Rings is phenomenal. The reflections, the moving and everything. And when I throw the bobber out there, I cast the pole, it splashes. You watch your bobber, you'll actually see fish coming around it to know it's about to be done. And when the bobber goes underwater, you have to hit your casting button again to reel your fish in. So it went under, I pull it in, it's going to put a fish in my little fish box, and we're going to keep going. Now, an important note on fishing is most of these fish are junk. They're not going to give you anything but money if it's a junk fish, and the junk fish is obvious by the maroon background, and it tells you its worth, but they all got little stories. So a bitterling, a small silvery fish, you know, goldfish, chars, so on and so forth. You can read them all, and you collect weeds. But you can also collect what's called trophy fish, and this is the only way you get these fish, is either to buy them or catch them. And these have different rarities based on zone. So I can only catch certain rare trophy fish in certain zones. For example, salmon are very rare, and salmon have different weights. So a 5-pound salmon can be caught here in Bree or over in the Shire, but if you want a 50-pound, you have to go to a highest level zone and try and catch it also. Now, some of these will be caught in any zone, but that's the key on the rare fish. If you want to display them in your house, looking up and figuring out what zone you can catch them in, because they have different rarities. Some of these I've got a ton of, some of them I've only got one of. But then you can also catch the different types of fish based on how skilled you are at fishing. The higher skills you get, the more types of cooking fish you can catch. But it doesn't matter where you fish. You can catch the cooking fish in any zone as long as you have the skill level that says you can catch that type of cooking fish. Same thing for the trash. The higher level you get, different types of trash you get. But this is all there is to the hobby. You fish. Ideally, you're catching fish for your cooking or you're catching trophies. So really, this is like an achievement-based thing. You want to catch that rare trophy to put in your house if you happen to have a house, or you want the fishing fish. And so that's it. Any questions about fishing? Because this is all there really is to it. Like I said, doesn't matter where you fish. Sometimes I fish off the bridge. Sometimes I fish in the river. It just depends. But you can look here and you can watch and you can see the fish in the water pulling on it, which is, to me, very cool. I would have liked to have seen them to do a few different... Oh, I just increased my proficiency to 100, and now I have Expert Angler. Nice. And I earned a title for hitting 100 points, and you witnessed it here. Now, I go over here and look at my hobby panel. I should be able to still get one more point. Yes. And get one more point, and that'll turn yellow, and I want to show you that so you definitely can see the difference. Hopefully we'll get lucky and get the point here real quick. Typically, I would say if you're, it takes about 30 minutes to get 10 points. The big bad fisherman be me, and you should be afraid. Very afraid. Now, it'd be really cool is if I get the 101 point and catch a salmon, because I've never caught a salmon yet. You guys need to be my good luck. Come on. Give me a salmon. I want a rare salmon for my house that I don't even own yet. That's a good question. I'm not sure why they haven't added any more hobbies yet. Maybe in the next interview MMORPG.com does with Lotro, we can ask them. Huh, Rob? Oh, we got our 101 points. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. So now when you look here at your hobby window, it is yellow. I can no longer earn points for fishing for today. You can only get 10 points a day, which means to get a max skill of 200, it's going to take you, do the math, 20 days. Assuming you fish every day and you get your 10 points. What I don't know is if you don't get 10 points today, you only get 5. Would you be able to make up? But I don't think so. I think if you get 5 points and tomorrow you get 5 points or 10 points or whatever, you'll just keep incrementing at that level. You only get so many a day, and when you stop, I think it resets with the server reset. But anyway, so we've achieved our objectives with fishing because I pre-fished before we started. Let me turn on my metal smithing or metal detecting. Well, this is true, Rob. I'm sure they will dance and prance around, but, you know, we have to do due diligence as a gaming organization to say, give us information. The nice thing about harvesting and having a horse, it will dismount you, but it will tell you you can't do that while mounted. By the way, this horse was the seasonal holiday horse that was earned by doing the Christmas things. I forget the name of that little festival, but you go into the festival and you spend 200 things and a couple gold tokens and you got the nice pretty horse. So I'm going to come back in here in town and sell off all my trash.
Good day. How may I help you?
And I'll show you all the trophies that I've gotten so far. I haven't made one, but I'll go over to the taxidermist and show you how that process works. Oops. Didn't want to sell that. They hinted about golf, but don't talk about it anymore. I could see how golf implemented into an MMO could be a little difficult. That's a lot of real estate you would have to make for a golf course. Maybe they could put mini golf in. You know, hobbits, mini golf, get it? Winterfest, yes, thank you, Grack. That's the term I was looking for. It is now gone for the Christmas. So here we go. You can see what the trophies would look like once you're done. They don't have labels, but here's a rainbow trout, and they come in different sizes and the different types of fish you have. So you would turn these into a trophy by going to your taxidermist for fish, which would be this guy, and he would go, oh, you have one of these. Would you like to turn it into a delightful dance trophy? And you'd pay them money, and he would turn it into a trophy. Since I don't have a house, I'm not going to do that yet because right now these stack, and I don't want to have extra baggage space in my bank
What can I
for
do for
something
you
that
today?
doesn't stack. But you can also come over here and see what other kind of trophies you can get in the world and collect different things, and you can have them stuffed and mounted on your wall. Yes, I seen that. So do you need me to get off the stream here shortly? I'm almost done here anyway. I think that's kind of funny that he decided to do that tonight. So that inventory. So the taxidermist, if you wanted to see, is right here in Bree. I'm sure there's taxidermists in other cities also, but at the low levels, this is the first one you're going to come to. So just to let you know where that's at. All right, we got 10 minutes to get off of here, folks. So we are about done. I'm just going to go into a crafting table and show you the last two craft recipes. I probably won't actually craft anything, but I will show you the recipes so you have the idea if you decided to play and you wanted to craft what you really need to look at for, or what you might decide to choose based on what you wanted to craft for your character. And that we will have covered the gambit of all craft skills within Lord of the Rings. So, oops, this is the vault. This is not.
What can I do for you?
This is not a crafting area.
What can I do for you?
Rare. As you can see, I've done a bit of fishing. I have a number of fishing items here.
Greetings, friend.
I'll go back over here to cook. Drop in some more cooking fish. Get out of here. Alright. "10 minutes works for me because I haven't had dinner yet. The things I do for you people, the fans, sacrificing, I'm wasting away from lack of food, and it's all your fault." No, it's not. It's my fault. I'm just kidding. Alright, so on this character, I am a tailor, a metalsmith, and a prospector, which is called the armsman, because I make all types of armors. I make the light armor. So if we open up, I can make cloaks, light armor, the gloves, the hat, the leggings, the shoes, the shoulder guards, and this is all made with leather, and you have to make the different components, the bindings, out of the different levels of leathers. Then if I go over to the metalsmith, it's the same thing. The nice thing about metalsmiths, they also make the crafting tools that have the bonuses on them. So if you didn't want to buy the universal kit and you didn't like the tool that comes off the vendor because you still wanted a bonus, you could have a metalsmith make you the special crafting tools, and the higher skill level you get, the better those tools are. I think I have some of these. So like iron cooking, 4 to cooking criticals, and so on and so forth. But besides tools, I also make the heavy armors that are used by the tanks and the metal wearing armor crafters. So, and then you also, as a metalsmith, get to make the shields, and you get to make the different kinds, which is important because the wardens get bonuses for using the warden shield, but they can also use the bucklers. They can use the warden shield, there are other types, and so on and so forth. I believe I get large kite shields also. Yeah, there you go. So I have a one-time use kite shield type that you can make. And as Gracklin just alluded to, it is much better, and I said this way early in my stream, for 150 turbine points, you can't beat buying the universal tool. Hands down, you can't get 20%, at least I don't think so, on anything. And the fact that you don't have to switch tools and have multiple things in your bags is just the best thing you can get, to me. And they are bind on account, so you can trade them between characters as long as you have shared banks. I believe you have to buy the shared bank, but me, I'm lazy, and I just bought one for every tune because it was pretty inexpensive. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up the stream now because we're having MMO FTW starting here shortly, which is our live weekly review of gaming news with Graculin and our host Bill here just shortly. So don't stand by for that stream here just shortly, and we will continue with the gaming fun. This is Chief Sarcan. I appreciate you tuning in for a little Lord of the Rings tonight, and I hope to see you in the near future. Please be sure to follow and leave comments if you like. This stream will be up on YouTube in a day